In this topic, we shall ask the question, how do actors like us prepare for our most challenging roles? Would you like to know how they tackled these cult classics? Sorry, those are the wrong clips. We have yet to acquire those human specimens. We have uncovered some new footage that could shed some light on this subject. In this short piece, we shall explore how some actors took on machine and creature-based roles, and how they went about producing a realistic performance. In James Cameron's Aliens, Lance Henriksen portrayed an android called Bishop.
I was actually emotionally playing a guy who was black in South Africa, and I thought I was in jeopardy, but I was polite. That was part of it.
The film also starred Sigourney Weaver, who reprised her role as Ellen Ripley. Cameron used a form of method acting to establish tension between Ripley and Bishop.
Sigourney actually was told by Jim Cameron that I was a Nazi, so he was contrasting us, so that we have conflict in the scene.
Trust me.
It's just an acting technique.
The yogurt and milk combination gave him food poisoning. This just illustrates the dedication Lance maintained to make an android character believable.
Not bad for a human.
They cannot imitate machines. Their biological functions deny it. Our next specimen is Vernon Wells. He went up against the android Arnold Schwarzenegger in a film called Commando.
I just wanted to kill his butt and get out of there.
Vernon was also the bad guy in Mad Max 2.
I shaved my head and just acted normal. That's how I was. I was a football player. I didn't have to do a lot to prepare.
Vernon took a silent but equally deadly role in Inner Space. He submerged himself into an exoskeleton mainframe.
Actually, Steven Spielberg, who was the producer, took all the lines off me. Yes, because he wanted to see me act without speaking. And the character, I think, was more powerful than saying anything, because he was a presence, which was what he was supposed to be. He would be a looming darkness, and that's how it was, and I think it worked.
So, how does Vernon manage to prepare for these demanding but equally different deadly characters?
I really don't. I just do the character, read whatever it is. You know, to me, acting is very simple. It's that whole thing of being truthful. Be truthful with the character. The audience believes you, and it's the only way I know how to do it. You know, I can't get into this studying the character and study. I mean, dependent per se on what it is. If it's a character that is out of history, yes, because you need to study what they've done, who they are. If it's a character that's been written and made up by somebody else, there's really nothing you can study pertains to that, so you just have to be truthful to the character.
So, how do you get an actor who is generally typecast as a hero to portray an evil psychotic killer?
I was very familiar with the comics.
Take, for example, Elijah Wood, who portrayed Kevin in Frank Miller's Sin City.
Come on, you son of a bitch. Damn, he's slick.
It's a lot of fun as an actor to go completely outside the realm of reality.
Another actor who has sometimes endured a role on the border of fiction is somebody who has portrayed the Borg Queen, Alice Krige.
I did a lot of reading. I went back to A Brief History of Time. The costume, the things were very, very helpful. And the Borg Queen was much more in the realm of fantasy. And so that was fun.
Silent Hill is one of the latest films that Alice has starred in. Although her character is fictional, she claims she found it very hard to play.
I found her very difficult just because she was so close to reality. Kind of religious fanaticism. It was very disturbing. Christabella was very frightening.
A short break is in order. Humans would call this a time-out.
There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission.
Another actor who has played a more machine than man-based villain is David Prowse. Sometimes actors are chosen more for their physical presence than for other qualities.
When I did Darth Vader, I was 6'7" tall, and I weighed 20 stone. That was what Lucas was impressed with, because he'd seen in Clockwork Orange doing a sort of physique thing. That was what impressed him.
What about an actor who portrayed a villain, and who, although he had only a very small role, became involved in a very iconic scene from the same universe? In a galaxy not so far away, Paul Blake was chosen to take on the bounty hunter character, Greedo, which would ignite a debate that would last for 30 years.
In those days, in 1976, to do a science fiction film was doing a B movie, because there were no good English science fiction films. So nobody knew what he was doing. Except George. George knew what he was doing. It was such a massive soundstage that I was really impressed with all the little bits and pieces. And so I thought, oh, this looks cool.
Yes, Greedo. As a matter of fact, I was just going to see your boss. Tell Jabba that I've got his money.
He said, play it like they do in the movies, which I thought was the best advice you could give to anybody, really. You're in a film, you do it as they do in the movies.
Yes, I bet you have.
Hand shot first, okay? How could Greedo have missed? You know the story, don't you? He went to Assassin College, but on the day they did close range, he was off with a nasty case of acne, a flare-up of the eyes.
In conclusion, we can derive a mini guide on how to boost the performance of actors. Propaganda. Inform that one actor is a Nazi. Research. Get the actors to read the source material. In particular, if they play evil cyborgs, they should read A Brief History of Time. Silence. Take lines off the actors to see if they can still perform. Pick actors who can perform the role physically.
I relied a lot on coffee and Danish pastries.
Drink coffee and eat Danish pastries. Tastes good? Are you going to finish that? In Konstantin Stanislavski's book, An Actor Prepares, he details his own emotional and intellectual reactions to each exercise and rehearsal. He documents that his superficial tricks and mannerisms begin to disappear as he increasingly gives over his conscious ego to a faith in the creative power of his subconscious. Stanislavski conjured up the now standard concepts of the unbroken line and emotional memory. Is it impossible to use Stanislavski's methods to prepare oneself to be a machine? Can machines never be imitated perfectly by humans? Must they settle on only an approximation of their genius? Organics let ego and emotion get in the way. However, since we do not share these emotional weaknesses, can we truly ever act like creatures? It is vital that we study their potential acting powers to emulate machines. We will not be tricked in this up-and-coming invasion. Many weak organics were sacrificed to capture this footage of non-informative actors. These specimens will pay for their lack of knowledge.
Hi William, how you doing?
Hello, I'm
Do you mind if I just film while I ask you a couple of questions? Is that okay? Or
I don't think I'm up to that.
this is going to be 2 minutes. So
Okay, go ahead.
what was it like playing an alien in Enemy Mine?
Oh, I can't do that.
You can't do that.
I can't do that.
Okay.
No.
All right. I'll just ask
That's
you.
worth a lot of money.
You know that you're answering the questions you're asking me.
Filming torture at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah.
What can we expect to see in that?
I can't tell you a damn thing about it. Nope,
No?
not at all.